Welcome back to our channel, guys. It's Zab's DIY, and today we are going to show you how to remove your Vauxhall Zafira B 1.6 petrol engine. Now I'm guessing the diesel and the other litre petrol engines are exactly same as this. Very simple. First one, you need to disconnect the battery. Then you can remove the grille, the front bumper, both of the headlights to get a nice access. Now you probably don't have to if you don't want to, but we are, because we don't want to damage it any further than we need to. Once you've removed all of them, I'm going to show you, then we're going to go underneath, disconnect the drive shafts from each side, and behind the gearbox you've got a mounting, and I believe there's 3 bolts. We're going to show you we disconnect them, and then we're going to disconnect the catalytic converter to the down pipe, so we disconnect that. It's only 3 bolts. Once you've done that, if you look straight ahead, and once this is all removed, if your aircon is full of gas, you can just remove the aircon motor and leave it on the side. However, our aircon gas is not there, so we're going to disconnect the pipe works. We are going to disconnect the rad pack, and we're going to disconnect this center slam panel, remove that out of the way. Those slam panels on the side you can leave. They actually welded onto the body of itself, so we're not going to touch it. If you come here, we also have fuel line pipes which we need to disconnect. Remove your airbox, engine mount at the bottom, remove this loom over here which connects into the fuse loom. Disconnect the battery, remove your battery tray. You have the gear selectors you need to remove. You have engine mount or gearbox mount on this side. You've got another engine mount underneath here. Again, we've already spoken about this engine mount over here. And you've got another engine mount connected in the back of the block into the subframe, which we show you again when we go underneath. Once you've done that, heat and metric pipes. These pipes, they're already disconnected. These go in the back of the block, which are disconnected already. However, there's probably a few more things that I've missed out. Maybe a couple of wiring loom connection, but when I start removing everything, I'll show you one by one. When we remove the engine, there might be something in the back that we might disconnect. There's another wire that sits in the back, I remember. I'll show you that one as well.
2 fuel lines on the far end.
Yeah, I've showed them already. Nevertheless, let's get cracking. First thing first, front grille, front bumper, headlights, battery. Go ahead and remove them. We will make a separate video on how to remove your headlights, front grille, front bumper. Now, before I remove all this, I'm going to go underneath and get the dirty work. As you can see, my hands are already dirty. We're going to get the dirty work over and done with, which is the drive shaft on each side, the engine mount on the back of the block, and the catalytic converter, 3 bolts to disconnect that. They convert to downpipe 30mm, and you've got 30mm over here. Undo them, and once you start jacking the engine up, it'll just disconnect. You've got this engine mount on the bottom of the engine towards the front of the car. You've got a long 16mm, so you get a 16mm spanner here, a ratchet, or 6mm ratchet and spanner over here. Undo that, and it is this bolt over here. Now coming back of the block, as you can see, if I do it this way, so you got this bracket over here is the back of the block to, I believe, the subframe of the car. Now you got 1, 2, and where my ratchet is 3 bolts, and they all are 14mm. So I've got my ratchet hanging down, one over there, one like this, and then the bottom one over here like this. So you disconnect these 3. You can do the last bolt over there if you want. I just find it disconnect these 3 bolts and leave the bracket onto the subframe and disconnect from the engine. And obviously then you've got your drive shaft this way going to the wheel up there that you need to take off. You can take the ball joint off, but I don't want to mess with the ball joint. So what I'm going to do is I'll disconnect this bolt and this bolt, and I'll let it off from the subframe, but I'll leave the ball joint on there because we're not intending to change the ball joint. And we also do it on this side as well. So the drive shaft, as you can see, the drive shaft over here going all the way to the wheel. Again, I'm not going to disconnect the ball joint itself, but this bolt over here and that bolt off the subframe to the wishbone, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. For now, I've disconnected these 3. These 2 are loose. This one's giving me a bit of trouble, so WD-40 on that. Let it sit for a while. For now, I'm going to finish off these 3. Like I said, I've already disconnected that bolt there already. Once these three are done from underneath the car, it's pretty much all done from the bottom of the car with, then the rest of the job is the top and the front. Remove the drive shafts either side, we remove the engine mount from the bottom, we remove the engine mounting from the back of the block as well. Now coming from the top, we have removed the front grille and front bumper. We are going to remove this lamp panel as well as the rad pack. We may leave the headlights on because they're not in the way at the moment. We just need this section over here to be clear, and obviously we're going to have to move the crash bar as well out of the way as well. So before I do that, what I've done now is obviously to remove the rad pack, we're going to remove this pipe, we're going to remove this pipe. I've got my lovely handy tool over here to hold that clamp down because it's a short pipe, as you can see. The rear heater mattress pipe, like I said, they're already disconnected. Now let me show you. So you got from the wiring coming to the fuse box where the battery connector is, the negative. You want to disconnect this bit here, and then you want to disconnect this cable over here. Move that aside because this goes with part of the engine loom, which we need. And also I also need to disconnect this one here as well, actually. So let's disconnect that because that stays with the fuse loom, or the car loom should I say. Now once I've done that, if you look at the positive side, I've disconnected the positives, or the 13mm. So this one was 13mm, this was 10mm, and this was 13mm. Now this is going to stay with the fuse box itself. So we disconnected this. This is going to come out with the engine itself. Coming to the back of the block, this is, I believe this is the main ECU loom. Anyway, so you want to unplug this, pull this out, put the clip down, push this bit aside, that comes off, and now you got this one here as well. Same thing, just this moves up and down. Move that towards the plug or the wire loom and pull it out. This obviously, pull this down, open this, the loom sits in there, disconnect that, disconnect it from here. This was already loose, don't know why. So this now will stay with the car loom itself. So when the other engine we put in, we're going to connect it back here, and this is obviously your ECU and loom wiring to the connecting to the from the engine to the car. Okay, so that's loose. Now what we're going to do is we are going to address the shifters. Now you can either pop these up, unclip this and just move that shifter across, but I don't want to mess with that, to be honest with you. So what I might do is I'm going to have to disconnect it. So what I'll do is I'll unbolt these three first, and then I'll disconnect the shifter somehow, but I'll show you when I take the engine out what I've done with that. So nevertheless, once we've done that bit there, coming to the airbox, obviously what I've done is, because I'm going to take this lamp panel and this airbox is going to come out with it, I've just disconnected it from this side over here. Okay, and now I'm going to come to the airbox, so let's unplug the airbox first. Let's move out of the way. There you go, that can be unplugged because we don't need that. And then we are gonna disconnect, take this box off, we'll disconnect this piping, pull it away from the airbox. Actually I could have just left that on there because I'm going to leave this with the engine itself. So let me go ahead and do that and I'll show you. So I've disconnected this was 7mm, I've moved this out of the way, and this is not in bolted. I don't know if you see this bit here, this bit here sits in the bracket over there, so you just pull it up. Once you pulled it up, you just pretty much pull it away from it really. So just not enough room, but you got to wiggle it out somehow. So the reason why we're doing this is because the mounting, which is just over there. So these three bolts, I mean, we could ideally just leave it here and just maybe wiggle a socket in there, but let's see if I can move the airbox out of the way. Finally got it out. I'll show you what's done and what's not done. So we have this bit here sitting into the bracket over here, and if we turn it to the back, we have these two bits over here, pins or what you want to call it, sit one over there, one over there. So we just pull it up, pull it out, and grab from the back, pull it off. So this is now removed, and look how much space we created already. We have access to the engine mount. Now I'm gonna remove it from, I believe, E12 or E13 there, I can't remember now. 1, 2, 3 over there. Once I've done that, I will also remove these 3 here. Easy to access. The engine won't fall down, but I won't remove that straight away. I'm gonna go ahead and remove them. So those 3, I'll leave that bit, because if I remove that, that gearbox will fall down. So what I'm gonna do is I'll remove that. I'll leave that. I'll start removing the gear shifter selectors. Once I've done that, then I need to go to the back and remove the fuel line pipes. Once I've done that, I'll strap it up. Obviously, no, sorry, I've got to remove this first. Once I remove that, strap it up, jack it with the engine crane, or hold it with the engine crane, then remove that, and then the engine should come out. Off comes the slant panel, or the section, the middle section. We have 30mm, 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 13, 13, 13. Don't forget we've got the airbox connected into here and here. So if you slide it off, lift it up, slide it off like that. And I'm not going to take the bonnet release cable. I'm just going to put this aside like this. I don't want to scratch anything, so I'll leave it like this for now. Obviously, when I do remove the engine mount or the gearbox mount, I'll remove that aside. And we've got all this excess now to remove the engine. Well, let's remove this out of the way as well. That's going to come in the way, otherwise it's going to break. So remove that out of the way. Now look at that, we created all that space so the engine can come out from this section over here. However, we do need to take the front crash bar off, so let's take the front crash bar off. Finally, we have removed the bolts from the top. I believe they're E12, but I used 10mm in the top and we've got 30mm at the bottom. I had to take this water washer bolt off as well, just leave it hanging like that. And I had to remove, again, I think it's E12 from the top, but I used 10mm because I've got the 12 socket. If I show you, so that grips on nicely as well. So I use 10 on the top, 13 on the bottom. It is, that's what I'm talking about. So it sits like this, use a 10 on the top, 13 on the bottom, undone it, slide it from the top. And then obviously you've got this wiring which is clipped on to all this over here. Get yourself one of these tools over here. Just put it like this against here and just push them away. Comes off nice and easy. And now this sits around this bit here, so you just pull it over and around and off. Now this should hopefully come off. Yep, perfect. Now as you can see, I've created so much space at the front. Now if I take the rad pack off, I'll be able to see the engine just like that from the front, and we're ready to remove the engine hopefully. So I think we are ready to remove the engine. So to take the rad pack off, we had to take this clip over here, took the pipe over there, disconnected 2 of the air con pipes, one over here and one's over here. And we had the mounting 10mm, the mounting came off. And now as you can see, the engine is right in front of us. That mounting is already removed. The one behind already removed, like I said. Disconnected that already. All we have to do now, we are going to let this just sit over here somewhere out of its place so it doesn't come in the way. Yep, and that was your rad mounting. That sits like this. Again, it was 10mm. Put that aside. Got the catalytic converter disconnected from the exhaust. I think the only thing I've got left now is these 2 fuel lines. Once I remove them, I think we're ready to remove the engine, to be honest with you. I know there's another wiring connection on the back, I think for the starter motor, which we will disconnect, which is quite easy, but it's a long wire which comes up. Once you remove the engine, it comes up to here, so you can disconnect it nice and easy. So we'll anticipate on doing that once we start removing the engine. Now what I need to do is strap it up, remove those 2 pipes, get the engine crane, lift the engine a little bit, and then start disconnecting those mountings over there. Once that's done, then we can start taking the engine out. So nevertheless, let's start taking the engine out. We're strapped up. Just want to quickly show you something. So talking about the gear selectors, on here I removed the whole bracket because obviously the gear selectors were quite jammed on the other car. However, on this one I've got this ply tool and I just went like this, pulled it up. So I went underneath the thingy, pulled it up, and that came off. Then I did the same on the other one, went like this and just pushed it away, and that came off as well. Okay, where's the other one gone? Somewhere here. Oh, there it is. So this came off as well. Then they have a push fit. So if I show you, move this water pipes out of the way for a second. So these are normally stuck on the bracket over here. So what you do is, don't know if you can see it, but let's see if we get a better angle. There you go. So this bit here, you just push it like this. There you go, see, and pop it up. Do the same on the other one. Push it away and pop it up. So the gear selector is now disconnected. The bracket or the gear change, whatever you want to call it, gear selector bracket is still on, bolted on now. The only thing I need to do now is get the engine crane, the engine with the hoist, and then undo those 3 bolts, and hopefully we'll show you removing the engine out. We've got the engine is lifted up, as you can see, got it off the mounts, got it off the mount. However, there was 2 more things that I had to remove. One was your aircon connection, which is this bit here. Just lift this up, pull it out, and also this pipe here that sits under here, I have to disconnect. So I've just left it hanging across like this. And there's this one here. Obviously didn't have no aircon gas, so it was all good to remove the pipes. Now it's a bit sketchy. I am a bit scared at the same time excited. So what we're going to do now is we're going to keep pumping the engine hoist and engine crane, and just look at that. I mean, normally if there's 2 of you, Abs is normally giving me a hand, but because it's only me, so now I've come to the maximum limit of lift. As you can see, it's about to touch the brake pipes with the engine, so I might have to drop it just a little bit down, and I'm going to pull the engine crane back so the engine can come. So what I initially want to do is pull the engine crane back. So as you can see, I've lifted the engine more towards the driver's side than the passenger side with the gearboxes, because I want the gearbox down a bit, engine come up a bit. Going to turn the engine this way while it's down, because remember that mounting is on the top, and this gearbox mounting sits underneath this bracket. I've not removed the bracket. I'm not going to do it either, because it's right into the chassis and I don't know how to remove that. So we'll leave that anyway. So I'm going to put the engine this way. I might have to drop it down a little bit, but let me just adjust this and I'll show you in a minute. So it's finally coming out. We are half there. Okay. Since you drop it down a bit, now it's hooked over there. So you want this bit high, that bit low, and we're gonna bring this part facing towards the middle of the car, pull the engine out. Finally, we got the engine position where we want it. It was missions. I mean, in the other car we really didn't care, so this was coming in the way of this bracket. I should have taken the bracket off. If I show you on this side here, we left it on and it came off nicely, but if I took these 3 bolts off, bracket would have come off. However, I wouldn't have nowhere to hook, and I didn't really want to mess about with this engine too much. I mean, I don't really care about this engine, but it's out anyway. So I'm going to keep pumping. As you can see, the position of the engine, this side is high, that gearbox is low. Wishbones or drive shafts are off already. So let's keep pumping the engine hoist, engine crane. See, there you go. So it's kind of cleared it off now. Yep, perfect. So as I'm lifting it up, it's clearing itself, to be honest with you. Look at that. But I am gonna move the engine crane back a bit Yeah, I'll have to move it back. There you go, see? So might have to drop it down just to give it a bit of clearance, because alternator doesn't hit that. I don't really care about the alternator, it's this I'm more worried about. So I might drop it a little bit, push the engine crane back. Let's see what it does. I got the engine free, and I see it's hanging in the center mouth of the car. All right, so there was 2 more cables on the back. So we got this one here that sits on the brake reservoir, I think this is a breather pipe kind of thing, and then we had this fuel line here with that filter, and that sits on this push fit clip. So that's the only reason why it was holding, and obviously it's leaked out and gearbox oil as well, which is a good sign. We know the gearbox was full of oil, which wasn't leaking. So now the engine is free, drive shafts are free as well, so we can pull the engine out now. See if I can push it back. Nope, need to jack it a bit more. Yep. That's gonna be an issue over there, so let's see what we need to do. Maybe push the engine bit this way. Oh yeah. So like I said, if you've got 2 people, perfect, because it's me alone. Moving the engine, jacking the engine crane. Oh, sketchy. Let's see if we can move the engine back. Engine crane back even. Yep, that's freed that bit. Okay. Nope. Okay, let's jack. Let's see what it does. Just this bit over here, really. Clear off. What do I need to drop here? I might need to drop it, actually. Let me drop it, see what it does. Perfect. So I've dropped the engine down a bit, and now I'm able to push the engine crane back. Perfect. Look at that. The engine is free. Yep, engine is free. Perfect. So lift up a bit more from there, and I think it should be good to go, really. I'm a bit restricted with space. Yes, perfect. Right, let me lift up a bit more. Yep, this cleared it. Perfect. All right, let me just take the engine out of the car, drop it down, and that should be good to go. Finally, we have the engine out of the car. It was all clear. Off we go. Right, I'm going to jack it on more. Come around this side over here. Right, what's it holding now? Oh, hold on. No, that lump should be. Oh, here you go. See, I knew there's always something that's holding it back. So it's got this. What is this? Need to take this bit off as well now. One more thing that we need to take off, the clutch pipe over here that goes to the what's this slave or the master cylinder. So there's only a pin. If I show you that pin there, just move that pin and that comes off. There you have it. We have our engine out and ready to be repaired. So this engine had a head gasket. That's the reason why we're out. Guys, if you haven't already, consider to like, subscribe and share, and we'll see you in the next one.